Hello again. It is Wing Nation presented by Hercules Tires, right on our strength. Talking sprint car racing, our favorite time of the week, and we are so glad that you have joined us. Aaron Evernham and Steve Post, and got a dandy for you here today. We got Brent Marks and Justin Peck, a couple of the big winners this past weekend, so all is well. Again, so glad you joined us. How are you, Aaron? How are things?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Spent a little time in the Heartland in Kansas. Bummed that I didn't get a chance to see any sprint car racing. USAC was out there, but our schedules never cooperated.
Mm-hmm.
But it's all good. It's all right.
Yeah.
And everything is well. We've been in this. We're going to get sprint car racing. We have been in this cycle of are we going to Port Royal or not? And this will be Ashley and I. We'll taunt you from afar, but we are going to Port Royal for the Weichert Memorial. There's been issues with camping in the town, and they just last week said the camping is good. So the Weichert Memorial was going to be either two shows with no camping or anything else, or one big party. It's going to be one big party. And if it's one big party, then Wing Nation is there.
And you can't miss the party.
That's right. Exactly. We're going to be in the commercial building, and they are also turning the commercial building into a wine and beer garden.
Oh, conveniently.
Bless our hearts.
Feel terrible for
Yes. So we're coming to Port Royal. Speed Palace, we are coming to see you. Ashley and I'll be there. It's the Weichert Memorial, May 28th and 29th. Let's get into the Hefner Racing Product Hot Topics. Brent Marks won the Morgan Cup at Williams Grove. He has had 2 World of Outlaw wins, and they're all big money deals.
Yeah.
17.5 on Saturday night, 20,000 for the Texas Outlaw Nationals. Coming into the month of money, he's got to like the way things are rolling.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, he's had speed. I mean, not just this year, last year.
Gosh, since he reformed his own team, Brownie at Texas called him the fastest non-outlaw team in the country, and I think I think it's really neat because I think there's been points where Anthony Macri's maybe been that camp. Brownie's obviously been good. But Marks is rolling. So we're going to talk to him in just a little bit. Also rolling is Justin Peck. 2 wins with the All-Stars. He won I-96 in Waynesfield Friday and Sunday night. Now, this is where it gets interesting. The 2 other races he ran the past week, second with the Outlaws. I thought he was going to get his first Outlaw win.
Mm-hmm.
And second with the All-Stars at Wayne County. So that's 4 straight top 2s.
That's rolling too.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So Justin Peck, we're going to talk to him a little bit later on. 3 wins on the season. His other win was the opener at Williams Grove. Dominic Selzy, speaking of hot hands, the Peter Murphy Classic.
Peter Murphy.
Yes, exactly. Friday night at Tulare, somewhat standard. Dom got up front, mixed it up, I think, with Shane Golobic, got the win. Saturday, he's riding around in third. Corey Day and Justin Sanders tangle with about 10 laps to go. Dominic says, thank you. I'll meet you at the bank. $11,000.
Right place, the right time.
Yes, no doubt about it. You put yourself in that spot, which we can make the same case for Brent Marks on Saturday night. You put yourself in that spot, and some of them are going to fall in your lap. Every one of these drivers has been in that spot where one's fallen from their lap, too.
Yep.
But I think the thing that's really neat about Dominic's deal is, and he shared some with this post-race, he had a point, he started racing and then got discouraged.
Mm-hmm.
And he had a point where he was thinking about hanging up the helmet, and the one that talked him off the ledge, if you will, as far as racing goes, was Peter Murphy. So Peter was the one.
I didn't know that.
Peter was the one that talked him into continuing on.
Yeah, because he lived in the Midwest for a while, and when he went back, he said he was going to run limited.
Yes, and I don't know when this all was. Dom described it as a dark place with racing, and Peter had a come to Jesus talk with him, if you will. And obviously it's worked out well because Dominic won more races than anybody last year, and he's really rolling this year. So he's the only 2-time winner of the Peter Murphy Classic. And I know what that means to Dominic. I know what Peter means to everybody out there, but what he means to Dominic. So I just thought that was really really cool stuff. You got a really good story happening over in Western Ohio. Cole Macedo, don't look now. And it's going to be neat because we'll get to see Friday night with the Outlaws rolling into Attica. Cole Macedo has that Ray Brooks Racing number 18 car rolling. Last 8 races, 3 wins, 7 podiums,
Wow.
and he stunk it up to a 6th-place finish one night. They're doing well, and they are having fun. Oh, my gosh. Stephanie Linder, they did some video where they were all bawling their eyes out crying or something. Oh, they're just like mocking, and they're just, oh, we have to do this. And, well, the fun, I don't know what was funniest. It was on, I don't know what it was, and I should know that so I could tell everyone to go check it out. Stephanie Linder had it on her Facebook, I think. I don't know what was better, them bawling their eyes out or Stephanie in the background laughing. That's the thing I think that's really neat about this Ray Brooks racing team is they're having fun while they're doing it. And
well, it's always more fun when you're winning.
Well, no doubt about it. Performance is good, but they're having a ball doing it. It's been fun. And finally, from the Empire Super Sprints, one of your old stomping grounds. How about Danny Varon? He won Fonda. 3 wins to start the ESS season. His win at Fonda started with a lap 1 crash to the work area and came and passed every one of them and won the race, his 19th career ESS win. So Danny Varon knocking it out. At least second generation. Bobby Varon, a former Fonda track champion up there. Modifieds, yeah. And
actually drove his car once.
Did you really?
Yeah.
There you
go.
It was
modified at Fonda.
At Fonda.
Yeah, so I was not really good in a modified.
There we go. Well, at least you didn't go. Did you go in the Mohawk River?
No, I didn't.
Well, if you didn't go in the Mohawk River, your night was better than some at Fonda.
Yes, I love that racetrack.
That's a cool place.
It really is.
It's really cool.
I ran a mini sprint there. I mean, race sprint cars there, but mini sprints too. A mini sprint.
Really?
Yeah, 1200cc mini sprint.
You had that baby wound it up around that joint.
It was so fun.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Hefner Racing Products is the absolute, the absolute number 1 pit utility vehicle in sprint car and midget racing is a custom mule conversion from HRP. It starts with a solid platform, dependable, good-looking Kawasaki mule, and Aaron, they customize and build each to customer specifications.
They do. They have options like generator, air compressor, shock and radius rod racks, amazing toolboxes and drawers, LED lighting, walk-on roofs, and more. HRP mule conversions perform, outlast, and maintain their value better than any other utility vehicle. HRP Mules raising the standard again in pit utility vehicles.
And they handle really, really well. I can trust. I can tell you. They handle really well. So good stuff, that's for sure. Hey, we need to do this. We need to step away because when we come back, the Myerstown Missile. Brent Marks, he joins us next. Sage Fruit is a premium grower, packer, and shipper of Washington tree fruit. Apples, pears, and cherries, and it's always an exceptional eating experience, and they're grown in the beautiful Pacific Northwest. Not only is their produce healthy, but they are grown with such care and precision that you can count on each piece of fruit having exceptional flavor. High-quality fruit, exceptional flavor, healthy snacking. Make sure when you go to your local grocery store, ask for Sage Fruit. Sage Fruit, it's our first choice for quick and easy snacking.
Circle B Diecast is the new diecast outlet from Plan B Sales. What started as Lionel and Chase Authentics apparel distributor has grown into the largest distributor of diecast and now includes Auto World Greenlight Collectibles, Brand Art, Sam Bass Artwork, and University of Racing lines. They have a huge inventory. The folks at Circle B Diecast love racing and support drivers like Kyle Larson, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Christopher Bell, and many others with sponsorships and partnerships. And on orders over $20, use promo code MRN for free shipping. Check them out, circlebdiecast.com.
Power isn't born, it's built over time. For over 65 years, Hercules Tires has been providing the muscle to move more drivers. Whatever the vehicle, whatever the terrain, and we back it with a powerful protection plan. So wherever the road or the trail takes you, we have the selection, value, and strength to get you there. Hercules Tires. Ride on our string.
Wing Nation, presented by Hercules Tires, continues on. We are talking on the Sage Fruit Hotline to the winner of the Morgan Cup at Williams Grove. Brent Marks joins us. Hello, Brent. Welcome back to Wing Nation.
Hi, Steve. Thanks for having me on.
Well, I'll tell you what, riding around there at Williams Grove, having yourself a really, really good night, and then with 1 or 2 laps to go, having yourself a really, great night. Congratulations. Has to be nice to get another big win with the Outlaws at Williams Grove.
Yeah, it sure is. You know, it's nice to win an outlaw race anywhere, but to be able to win at Williams Grove is really special. Just obviously because we're based out of Pennsylvania, and it's such a really hard racetrack to win at. So anytime you can get a win there, it's definitely an accomplishment. And we're just very thankful that things went our way there on Saturday night, and we had a fast race car all night long, and was dealing with rain all weekend, and it's just it was turning into a very frustrating weekend, just dealing with all that. So to top it off with a win, was really special. And the other cool thing is we've won all three major events there with the World of Outlaws, and that's also really cool.
Yeah, what an accomplishment. Brent, talk about the last few laps of the race. Obviously, you took the lead from Jacob last lap when he ran out of fuel. How close were you on fuel? But you also had something going on with your brakes and a vibration. Leading a race, that's a lot to maintain or to manage as a driver.
Yeah, it sure is. I think it was about 10 laps ago I started developing a really bad vibration, and I wasn't really sure what was going on. Because it just comes up through the drive line, into your feet, into your hands, the steering wheel, and you don't know what it is. And my biggest worry was it was my motor, and because we were just pushing hard all night long, and just on the throttle, and you always worry about being too lean in those things, and burning them up when it's like that. So that was my biggest concern. And then I got the second, and I was just trying to push as hard as I could, but also trying to be a little cautious so I didn't break anything either. And then we ended up finding out that it was the brake caliper. I guess the one stud broke off, and it got cocked sideways on the rotor, and it was just grinding against the rotor and causing the bad vibration. So it really wasn't that big of a deal with that happening. But last lap there, the whole thing broke off, and I lost my brakes, and just got really lucky there at the end, put it that way. So we just we were fortunate we weren't racing in lap traffic or anything like that. So it all worked out there in the end. But we had that issue, and then we only finished the race with 2 gallons of fuel. So I don't even see us finishing another lap there. With some things, 2 gallons of fuel is basically running on fumes. So we got extremely lucky to even finish that race.
Fuel, I know nothing about fueling systems and engines and everything. You talk about leaning it out. Did you have all the fuel in the car that you could put in the car? Was there, I mean, obviously Jacob ran out. Did everyone do everything they were supposed to do and could do on that? How do you budget for that?
Yeah. I mean, we filled it up to the very top. I mean, we couldn't put another drop in that thing, and so we did our job on that. And anytime we had a yellow, I made sure that I saved as much fuel as I possibly could. And the best way to doing that is just obviously staying off the throttle totally and leaning the motor out with your shutoff valve. So I did that, all the way up until going into turn 3, taking the green. And it's when we go green, I just shove it back to wide open there, and so that way I can go racing again. But I did as much as I possibly could to save fuel, because we went through a lot in the dash, and I couldn't believe how much we went through in the dash. So we were even lucky to finish that thing, because it's only 6 laps. We generally don't put a whole lot of fuel in for the dash, and we got lucky to even finish that. But so I kind of seen what was going on there, and just try to be as smart as I could behind the wheel throughout the race, just to make sure I was there at the end. And I almost didn't do a good enough job, so we cut it really close.
Brent, I had 2 questions for you. When you're worried about fuel conservation, do you do anything under green flag to try to not be wide open all the time? Or when it seems to me in a World of Outlaw race, you can't give up anything. In a stock car, there's ways to kind of roll off the throttle, roll back on a little easier. Yeah. But in a sprint car, is there anything you do like that? And my second question for you was, when you went over the scales, how nervous were you knowing you only had 2 gallons of fuel in the tank?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's more about what position you're in out in the racetrack. So, if you're out front and kind of controlling the race, I feel like you can roll out of the spot a little bit there and just kind of, change your pace some. But the way the track was, it was just so fast. And we really couldn't, I didn't really see any way that where I was running, I had to keep pushing the whole time just to try to get some position there, because, Jacob was out there, and Sheldon was running really hard, and I was behind trying to catch both of them, and he just really had to push the whole race. So there was nothing I felt like I could really do, because if I back off a little too much, then they got too far out, and then I could never chase them back down again. So we were just constantly chasing that whole race.
Hmm.
But I just tried to do the best I could under the yellow flag, and I think that really helped. But fortunately, I don't. It's always kind of a disadvantage being 6'2" because you're a lot heavier than these other drivers. So
Yeah.
I've always weighed more than a lot of other drivers, and felt like sometimes that has hurt me. But this time around, rolling across the scales, I already knew I was good, so I didn't really have to worry about it.
Yeah.
I
Unlike
mean, I already
others.
had
Yeah.
like, yeah, exactly. I mean, some of these other guys are just they have to be really, really careful with what they do. And I mean, I'll use Carson for example. I talked to him after the race. I have 50 more pounds of body weight than he does. I mean, just so right there, it's just that's easy for me to make weight. But for a team like that, they have to be very careful with what they do, because they're always on the edge of being underweight. So that's the one and only time I think that's ever helped me.
Man, that is awesome. Gosh, I hadn't even thought about that, but I mean, that makes total sense. Makes total sense. So we are going to let you get out of here in just a second or two, because you're racing tonight over at Bridgeport. You get to dance with the Outlaws again tonight. Have you ran much at the new Bridgeport Speedway, and what's your take on what you're going to run into this weekend or tonight over there?
Yeah, I've run 3 times at the new speedway so far, and it's a really cool track. It's a whole lot of fun, and we almost won that Invasion of the Posse race there just the other week, and we broke a
That's
rear end there on the last lap and lost that thing, and that was pretty devastating. So hopefully we can rebound tonight, have a really good night, and just go out there and compete for another win. But it's a really fun racetrack. It's exciting for the drivers, and also for the fans, and they've just put a whole lot of banking into it and shortened it up from what the old track was, and it's a really racy joint. So I'm really excited to get back there.
Yeah, I was up there a couple weeks ago. Just saw a 305 show and USAC non-wing sprint cars. What an amazing track!
Mm.
Gosh, that is amazing what they've done,
Yeah,
especially compared to
it
the
is.
old one. Did you ever do anything? Were you ever over at the old one, the 5/8 mile?
I think I raced on the old one just twice, and I wasn't a huge fan of it, so we never went back after that. So
Yeah.
it was just one of those tracks, we did it. It's like we don't really need to go back. So I'm really happy that they changed it.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
doubt.
Those
They've
big,
made that thing. That's going to be an awesome race
so
tonight.
fast, and had those big
Yeah.
infield tires.
Uh,
Yeah.
final thing for you. I said I wanted to get you out the door, but something else just spurred to my mind. You run an outlaw schedule, not a World of Outlaw, an outlaw schedule. One of the hot topics is fuel prices and that. As you look at the next 6 weeks, month and a half, 2 months down the road, is there any changes to that, or how is that factoring into where you're planning on going, Brent?
Yeah, I mean, right now we're still sticking to our current schedule and gonna try to race all these races we want to race. But we're also gonna take into consideration all that, just see where we're at. So I mean, winning races like the Morgan Cup there on Saturday obviously really helps us in our budget to be able to continue to do what we're doing. But we just have to be really careful and just make go race races that make sense. And I all the races that I have scheduled this year, I feel like make sense for our team and what we want to accomplish, and I want to try to continue that. So we'll just really be watching the weather a lot. If we're gonna travel 10, 12 hours down the road and there's a 50, 60% or 70% chance of rain, we might consider just not even going at all and racing here locally, just because we don't want to take that chance. And it's just a lot of money to be spending to go down the road just to take that chance. And we just have to be smart about it. So at this point, we're just taking it 1 week at a time. But for the most part, we're definitely sticking to our schedule that we currently have.
Outstanding. Well, we'll be watching you tonight on Dirt Vision. Can't wait to see it. And we'll catch up with you next week. I think at Port Royal we'll be up there and doing our live shows up there. But thanks for joining us here today on Wing Nation. We appreciate it.
Sounds good. Thank you for having me on.
There we go. Brent Marks joining us on the Sage Fruit Hotline. Man, I didn't realize. I mean, I realize it, but all that's involved with is shutting the
Yeah.
fuel lines off or minimizing the fuel lines during
Yeah.
caution and everything. I mean, it's so precise what
Yeah.
these guys do.
Yeah, I remember I used to do that, obviously, and there was a lot of times that you'd be worried about fuel. But I would keep my hand on the fuel shutoff because there was a time I may or may not have forgotten to open it back up before we went green and hurt a motor. So I used to always make sure the whole time I just keep my hand there because I knew
So you would have a
if
reminder.
you're under caution for 4 or 5
something
laps,
happens.
Your mind goes every which direction.
Yeah, something happens. You're watching the track.
And I got a little ADD going on.
Someone pulls up alongside you and waves a finger at you. The beer hill gang's chucking beers over the fence.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Man, oh man, good stuff, that's for sure. We need to step away. When we come back, Justin Peck, he joins us next.
Just like racing components, Aggressive Hydraulics purpose builds hydraulic cylinders to perform for customer-specific applications. They design and manufacture mobile-style, single-stage cylinders as well as multi-stage telescopic cylinders. It's a no one-size-fits-all approach with Aggressive Hydraulics. Hydraulic solutions for virtually every industry that uses hydraulic cylinders. They proudly design and manufacture all cylinders in the United States. Check out the video of their story at aggressivehydraulics.com.
Circle B Diecast is the new diecast outlet from Plan B Sales. What started as a Lionel and Chase Authentics apparel distributor has grown into the largest distributor of diecast and now includes Auto World, Greenlight Collectibles, Brand Art, Sam Bass Artwork, and University of Racing lines. They have a huge inventory. The folks at Circle B Diecast love racing, and they support drivers like Kyle Larson, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Christopher Bell, and many others with sponsorships and partnerships. On orders of $20 or more, use promo code MRN for free shipping. You can check them out at www.circlebdiecast.com. Wing Nation presented by Hercules Tires. Right on our strength, right back to the Sage Fruit Hotline. A man who has 2 wins in the last 3 races and 4 straight top 2 finishes, including one with the World of Outlaws, 3 with the All-Star Circuit of Champions. Justin Peck joins us. Hello, Justin. How are you?
Hey, I'm pretty good, man. Thanks for having me on.
I always start with a stupid question like, how's it going? That's kind of a dumb question for you. How good is it going for you right now? Looks like you guys have got that car rolling well.
Yeah, we've, we just kind of been chipping away at it all year. I feel like we had, a lot of speed early in the year. It's just, it seems like when we'd hit it and had a car that could win, I didn't race a race that, that was good enough to win or vice versa. So it's just, I feel like we just now are finally putting it all together.
Justin, you kind of hit on exactly the question I wanted to ask you. You've had speed all year. You guys have been fast, but how much of a factor is your confidence, is your driving? You said there were races maybe you didn't do exactly what you needed to do, but there's such a big part of our game that we don't talk about, the mental part of it and the confidence part of it. How important is that? And when you have finishes like you do in a row, how great is it to have that momentum on your side?
Yeah, I think it's that way for all sports. That the the mental side of it's huge, but it seems like with the racing deal, it gets magnified even more. I mean, it's one of those deals that if you're, you could be your car can be on, but if you're not thinking, if you're not happy with or you're not confident enough, I mean, you're gonna take a winning car and run 15th, and that's just how tough our deal is now. I mean, it seems like there's plenty of badass drivers out there that can wheel race cars, and there's all these, a bunch of good car owners, good equipment and stuff. And it's just that little bit of the mental side that guys kind of forget about. And, I kind of talked about it last year, going into the 2021 season. I felt like I took a little bit better approach towards that side of racing. And it just kind of been growing on that as the years go on. And, there was a weekend when we were in Pennsylvania with the All-Stars this year that I kind of let it get to me a little bit. We started that week off with Bridgeport. It was running second, felt like I had a shot of winning that race and ran over a lap car. So that whole weekend kind of went to crap after that, just based off the mental side of it, And like I said, I feel like I've had this speed all year long, and I know we had a car that is capable of winning at least 2 of those 4 nights we were in Pennsylvania. Just, wasn't able to get the job done just because I let one little thing, bother me too much that whole weekend. But it seems like we're back on track now. I mean, we're making the right decisions with the race car, and I seem to be making the right decisions on the racetrack. So as long as we keep this ball rolling, we should be good.
Fast forward with that to this past weekend, you the 3 All-Star races, but you were over at Lincoln, and I know second place has got to be a frustrating spot to finish, but second place with the World of Outlaws, did that help with your confidence as you went into this weekend? And is second with the Outlaws good for you, or is it more frustrating for you?
Yeah, second's just the first loser.
Exactly. That's the problem. That's my question is like, yeah, you didn't get the job done, but it's the World of freaking Outlaws too. I mean, it's like,
Yeah, it's hard to kind of find that balance in your head
Yeah.
of, oh man, I'm happy with I'm happy with the second, but I think for me at least, for as from a personal standpoint, I think when I start thinking that way, I almost get comfortable, I guess you could say.
Good.
So kind of, we were happy with it in the moment, but also still irritated that we had a shot at winning and led laps. But when it comes down to it, I think Jacob was just a little bit better than we were, or a little bit better than I was, or however you want to look at that. So that was on Wednesday. So when I got up Thursday morning, that's kind of more so what I was thinking about, was how do I, how do I get better? How do we, when we get back in that situation, how do we finish it off and not get past for the lead? So that was kind of the direction we took it. Just trying to talk about how to get the race car better. Like, I think we were a little light on the nose when later on in that race, when we started getting the wing back, it seemed like I couldn't really keep the right front on the ground, and I really had to check up on the entry into one to really get my car to sit and roll. Whereas Jacob looked to be like a little bit more stable with his right front, that maybe didn't have as much the left rear attitude as my car had. So that was kind of the direction we took that, just trying to get better.
Crazy. Justin, continuing the conversation about the mental aspect, you talked about that weekend in Pennsylvania where you ran over a lap car and it kind of affected the weekend. What are things that you do to try to work on that? Like, that's one of the hardest things as an athlete, right? Is to overcome it, to put it behind you and go on to the next race. What are some of the things that you find work best for you?
Just trying to stay positive and locked in.
Mm-hmm.
If I think for me, like, if I dwell on the bad stuff too much, it really affects me. But I also think for me, I tend to look at the good things we did too much as well, and like really what makes or breaks you is those in between times. Like, if I might win these two races this weekend, but I'd go up and lay a goose egg this weekend and run 12th, all just because I was thinking too much about, I'm good, I won these two races, I'm good, and so I think it's just a matter of staying locked in and always looking forward to the next one.
Mm-hmm.
Something my crew chief Sean and I kind of talked about, sometime last year was, yeah, it's great we won all these races early. Well, now we're running third and fifth and sixth and whatever. So how do you get past that? You know what I mean? So I think for us, it's just, we always try to look forward to the next one, and we kind of look at it as if, we got the whole winter time to party and feel like we accomplished something.
Yeah. Well, and I love seeing your team. Your team kind of with Sean there, and what's his name, Kramer's boy, Tom.
Kirk.
Kirk. Yeah, Kirk. That dynamic is interesting because I look at that team and I see the partying misfits, but yet you're having these discussions about the mind game and everything. That's a neat balance that you guys have with Tom's team there.
Yeah, it works out pretty good because, I mean, Kurt is he can get a little wild. We do have a lot of fun together, but I mean, when it comes down to it, Kurt's one of the he's one of the hardest workers I've ever actually worked with. It's just he's gonna do his own thing on his own time. You know what I mean? And he might not be getting to the shop at 8 o'clock like Sean is every morning, but he's out there by 10 and he works till 10 midnight. So it is a good balance, and for me, from a driver standpoint, when I want to be serious, Kurt can be serious too, but when I really need to talk about, like, the professional side of it and how we're going to get from point A to point B, that I can go to Sean. And when I need to have a little bit more of a relaxed conversation, or and Kurt's actually, I call Kurt the engineer, because I swear I walked into our apartment one day. I went home to Indianapolis, saw the parents and everything. And when I got back to the apartment in Pennsylvania, I walked in, he was reading a freaking engineering book. So, I mean, he is pretty smart on that side of stuff. I mean, he might have had, 4 or 5 empty White Claws sitting next to that engineering book, but hey, he had it open and he was reading it.
Yeah, the first time I talked to him, I knew that he was funny, a little eccentric, and a genius also. I knew that I've been just talking to him, I knew that he's a smart guy, and really cool. So now the boss man, Tom, every time I go to a race, he's fishing or doing something else. Does he get to many races, or is he is he still out and about all the time?
For the most part, he don't usually show up a whole lot, but he's been to 3 of them this year, and it just so happened to be all 3 in a row. He went to Bridgeport, and then he went to Bloomsburg, and then he went to Williams Grove, and then he skipped out on Port Royal that weekend that the All-Stars were in Pennsylvania. But I know, like, last year he came, we had the second time the Outlaws went down to Florida, like after Texas and all that stuff rained out. He went down there with us there. He came to Port Royal like maybe 2 or 3 times. And then actually the weekend that we were in Wisconsin last year, so this coming up weekend, I got a concussion, the weekend before that, so I wasn't racing, and Spencer Basin was racing. He actually went out there for that too. But No, he usually just watches on the couch, man. He usually, he'll call me and text me and stuff like that. But he kind of just lets us do what we need to do, and I think that's part of why we're able to be successful is, he's put a good team in place, and he knows that we're capable of taking care of his equipment and winning races and getting up and down the road. So it's kind of a nice dynamic.
Justin, I hate talking points, but how important is that championship? You're second in points now. It's early in the season, but the All-Star Championship, how big of a goal is that?
Yeah, I mean that's what we're shooting for.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like we've been really fast. I feel like we would have had a better shot at it last year had I not been forced out for that weekend and missed 4 races.
Mm-hmm.
But as a team, we still came home second in the championship. Not a close second, but we were still second. And I feel like if we can just get through this year, no injuries, and keep our motor program in line, I think we'll be right there at the end of the year. It's it's one of those things like we try not to worry about it, and
Mm-hmm.
I really personally haven't even looked at it yet, and I don't plan on doing that till after Speed Week because I think really the pivotal point in the All-Star Series is like you got to get through Speed Week, and then you got to get through the Knoxville All-Star Show. If you can get through those like that 10-race stint and be towards the front of all the like every night, running top 10. I think that's going to be the guy that comes out on top.
Mm-hmm.
Neat stuff, that's for sure. Well, you guys are headed to Wisconsin this weekend. We wish you the best up there, continued success. We appreciate you joining us, and we'll catch up with you. We'll be at Port Royal next weekend, so we'll see you there. But thanks for joining us here on Wing Nation.
Yep, thanks for having me, guys.
There we go, Justin Peck. Man, what a neat guy that is.
Yeah.
Boy, I love, you see him and they're having a good time, and then yet you talk to him and he is so laser focused on the battle that he's in.
Yeah.
And the challenge that he's in as a professional athlete.
Yeah.
And I just love his perspective on all of it.
On life. Yeah.
On
yeah.
trying to find, I think in life, this is nothing to do with sprint car racing. We all try to find balance.
Amen.
And we all fail at finding balance.
We never feel like we're happy.
Seems
with
like
balance.
every day we
Yeah.
fail at finding balance. And when you look at his sprint car world, finding that balance between enjoying and performance and not letting that lap car get the best of you 3 nights in a row, savoring the second place all-star run, but still have that be a burr under your saddle.
Yeah.
I think that balance is good. I love the way he handles that. I really do.
Me too.
And I am telling you, that all-star battle this year,
Is
now
good.
I agree with him.
Yeah.
Stay tuned. Let's get through Ohio Speed
Yep.
Week and the Knoxville race. But I am telling you, Tyler Courtney very well could win this championship, defend his crown. He's going to need to pack a lunch to do it.
Yep.
Justin is there. Hunter Schoenberger's there.
Yeah.
We know Eliasson's going to be good. You just keep going down that list. So it's really, really good. We need to step away, and when we come back, we'll have more Wing Nation. Sage Fruit is a premium grower, packer, and shipper of Washington tree fruit. Apples, pears, and cherries, and it's always an exceptional eating experience, and they're grown in the beautiful Pacific Northwest. Not only is their produce healthy, but they are grown with such care and precision that you can count on each piece of fruit having exceptional flavor. High-quality fruit, exceptional flavor, healthy snacking. Make sure when you go to your local grocery store, ask for Sage Fruit. Sage Fruit.
Circle B Diecast is the new diecast outlet from Plan B Sales. What started as Lionel and Chase Authentics apparel distributor has grown into the largest distributor of diecast and now includes Auto World Greenlight Collectibles, Brand Art, Sam Bass Artwork, and University of Racing lines. They have a huge inventory. The folks at Circle B Diecast love racing and support drivers like Kyle Larson, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Christopher Bell, and many others with sponsorships and partnerships. And on orders over $20, use promo code MRN for free shipping. Check them out, circlebdiecast.com.
Power isn't born, it's built over time. For over 65 years, Hercules Tires has been providing the muscle to move more drivers. Whatever the vehicle, whatever the terrain. And we back it with a powerful protection plan. So wherever the road or the trail takes you, we have the selection, value, and strength to get you there. Hercules Tires. Ride on our strength.
Wing Nation presented by Hercules Tires. We're continuing on here. Let's talk about the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum birthday calendar. Busy week. Ray Tilley yesterday. Hooker Hood, Shirley Keir.
Aw.
Yeah, Shirley's the best, isn't she?
Sure is.
Bill Vandewater, Pat Sullivan coming up later this week. I love Pat Sullivan. I haven't talked to him in a while.
Yeah.
Paul Weirick, Bob Swikert, Gus Schrader. And today would have been the birthday of Russ Garnett. Garnett, I guess it is. Okay? And if today was his birthday, it would be his 127th birthday.
Oh.
He was born in 1895, a renowned sprint car owner and mechanic. Won the 1930 AAA Pacific Southwest Championship with driver Francis Quinn. Many, many big car wins at Ascot in the 20s and 30s. Legendary drivers like Rex Mays, Jimmy Sharp, Stubby Stubblefield, and many more. Russ passed away in 1965, but he is forever enshrined at one sprint car place, Knoxville, Iowa, the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum over there. And more drivers, owners, media, and others will be inducted coming up with their Sprint Car Hall of Fame induction weekend. It's coming up on June 4th in Knoxville, Iowa, Aaron.
Yes. Have you ever been to the event?
Never been to the event.
It's I love going to those inductions. I was on the board for a long time for the Hall of Fame, but to listen to the stories, not only that are being told of the inductees, but just the gathering of the people who are there, just sitting at the tables, and it's just such a great event. If you're in Iowa or thinking about a trip to Knoxville, check it out.
Absolutely. Bob Fry, Eric Gordon, Terry Gray, Tim Green, Tony Stewart, the drivers going in. Ralph Heinzelman Sr., longtime mechanic, car owner in Pennsylvania. Walter T. Ross, Dennis Ross, Johnny Gibson, Jack Cromer, the great photographer. Yep. Oh my gosh. Robin Miller, the great reporter for the Indy Star, and Melvin Slim Rutherford. Okay, so Aaron, we don't have to wait long.
Yes.
Tonight, the Dirt Vision kind of night.
Yes,
man,
my favorite.
Bridgeport is so awesome. Gosh, they've done such a good job.
I can't wait to watch. I only saw highlights from the last time they ran there.
It's
the ever-changing track.
It's so awesome. It just is. I was there a couple weeks ago. I probably shared on the program. It was a 305 race. Great 305 race. Fantastic 305 race. They went green to checkered. I mean, it was just awesome. USAC. Talked to Billy Pouch there. I mean, it was good.
Did you get his book yet?
I got his. I'm reading it.
Yeah, Ray's reading it right now, and I'm kind of antsy to get mine.
Ray wrote the foreword.
He did.
In fact, I need to bring that in and show it off a little bit. Yeah. Buffy sent me Buffy Swanson did a Billy Pouch. I've read the first 4 or 5 chapters, and I have been on a thing. This goes way off the reservation here, but it's not the first time. It's not the last time. NASCAR driver Eric Jones. I was talking to him during the offseason. One of his campaigns is reading, encouraging kids to read, but people to read. And so I'm sitting down and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to read a book this year. And then I kind of walk out and I'm like, I just told Eric Jones I'm going to read a book this year. I'm about 3 chapters from the end of a Johnny Cash biography.
Oh,
that's
gosh,
phenomenal.
That's got to be amazing.
Oh, my gosh. I am enjoying it. Like, what's next?
Yeah,
what's next?
Like, can't put it down.
But it's one of those where you can go chapter by chapter, and it's not like a story. It's like every chapter is a different little facet of Johnny's life. Yeah, it's broken up, but it's just a great read before bed every night. Well, in the waiting deck, but I took it with me on the road, was the Billy Pouch book. So in Kansas this week, I laid down and just read a chapter or 2 every night. The book is phenomenal. I mean, aesthetically, it looks awesome because it's broken up with a lot of pictures and a lot of pictures that accompany the stories, and it just looks so good. Buffy Swanson, maybe one of the best writers in all of motorsports. Yeah. She's so good. When I started in the business, she was so good, and she continues to be. And this is a topic that's obviously near and dear. Her, Billy, and Barb, they're all friends. And so for her to write the book is the perfect person to write the book. So I cannot wait to finish my Johnny Cash book because I'm going to carry the book in and I'm going to flash it in front of Eric Jones's face. See that? Read it all. And I've already got another one on deck.
Yeah, it's only May.
I know. I'm going to have the Billy Pouch book done. So fun. But how did we get started? Oh, we're talking about Bridgeport tonight. That's how we got started, talking about Johnny Cash's book. Yeah. Well, Bridgeport and Johnny Cash, they go hand in hand all the time.
Sure.
Yeah, he used to run the 5/8 mile track when he would go there. No, fun stuff. Hey, if you're watching Dirt Vision tonight, flip over during any downtime. Millbridge, we've got kids'
Yeah.
night. So I'm going to be out there. I'm on the Tuesday night team calling. So it's a double Millbridge or double Dirt Vision night. So Millbridge, the kids will be racing. So we'll be on there. This weekend, All-Star Circuit of Champions and the IRA Bumper to Bumper Sprints teaming up for 3 nights of racing. Friday night at Wilmot, Saturday at Plymouth Dirt Track in Sheboygan, and Sunday at Angel Park. World of Outlaws, looking forward to these two. Attica Raceway Park and Sharon Speedway. Nosa's at River City. King of the West is at Petaluma. Central Pennsylvania, big weekend there. And Sunday, they race at Path Valley. So fun weekend.
Yeah.
Lots and lots. And everybody is racing. If you have a sprint car track in your vicinity, they're racing. So make sure you check it out. So great weekend coming up. Man, I love talking with Brent Marks and Justin Peck.
Yeah.
They're two just stand up, tell you their perspective guys about, yeah, it's black or it's white or it's this or it's that.
Yeah.
And I just think that that's so refreshing. And then you see the career, and you look at them, they're both, what are they both? They're probably 10 years into their careers, 10-ish.
Ish, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and look at them now, they're on top of their game. I mean, they're rolling.
Yeah.
Love it. I love it. Yeah. And both have had a journey getting there. Yeah, no,
Ups and downs,
get ups and downs. Yeah. So I just think it's awesome. So it's great to catch up with them. We have got a busy week here. We'll be busy on Twitter and on Facebook and our YouTube page where we have all of these. This Thursday, it's the work area. So the three of us, Aaron, Ashley, and I are going to sit down, and I have no idea what we're going to talk about. We usually don't when we do it. We're going to do that. And coming up on our Wing Nation program, our television show this week, presented by Sage Fruit, Brian Brown. So we're on Rev TV on Wednesday night in Canada, Friday and Saturday this time. We'll be Friday starting in June. We got another additional show on Mav TV, but starting in June. Saturday morning on Mav TV, Brownie joins us. Oh man, I'll tell you what, Brownie wide open. That's for sure. Picked up that win. What a race that was.
Yeah,
Did you see any of the highlights of that?
I did.
When they're bouncing off each other on the front stretch, not once but twice. Reitzel and him.
Yeah.
I mean, well, as Brian's correct. Brian got ran into from behind both times. But now Brian said I was blocking and trying to win that race. But twice, I mean, it's like the first time I was like, oh my God,
gosh,
this is not going to be
Not
good.
gonna
Second
end
time,
well.
I'm like, you guys have got to stop this. So we talk a little bit about that and a whole lot more with Brownie on our show. So again, we appreciate Justin Peck and Brent Marks for joining us. More important though than all of that, thank you for joining us here on Wing Nation, presented by Hercules Tires. Ride on our strength. Circle B Diecast is